Hi, my name is Marshall, and today I'm going to be talking about the history of NASA. So, as you all are kind of aware, with recent world events taking place on Earth, I think that life is going to be over in a short amount of time. This means that we're going to have to find a new place to live and a new place to habit and just start over. So, NASA has actually taken on this role, and they're looking to find that new frontier that we can get a fresh start with. So I originally got into this because my uncle actually works for NASA as a aerospace engineer designing and improving rocket fuel and efficiency. So every time I'd see him around the holidays, we would talk about his line of work, what NASA has going on inside their company, and all that. So everyone needs to sit back, relax, and enjoy this short history lesson. So I'll start with the creation of NASA. NASA originally derived from the NACA, which stood for the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, and that company was interested in creating a non-military space exploration agency. So what they did was they created a branch, and they called it NASA, which stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. It started out as a small branch, and didn't really expand until the Soviet space program surpassed the United States. That's when it broke off from the NACA and became kind of its own company. And so it broke off in 1958, and the budget was actually only around $100 million. And the company only employed about 8,000 people. Now, $100 million is only enough to get maybe one or two satellites in the air, not much at all, especially compared to today, where NASA's budget has just surpassed $19 billion and employs over 18,000 people. So now onto the moon. The moon is only 27% size of the Earth. It's covered in dead volcanoes and volcanic ash. It has no atmosphere. Sounds great, right? Well, that's just why we had to send people there. So in 1969, the Apollo space mission landed a man on the moon. These are two men. These men were Mission Commander Neil Armstrong, first man to walk on the moon, as you probably know, and pilot Buzz Aldrin. They spent about 5 months going through countless simulations, experiencing multiple G-forces, and after those five months, they were allowed to go into space and get on the moon. The mission only lasted about 8 days and 3 hours, where the lunar module, when it was returning home, actually deployed a parachute, landed in the Atlantic Ocean, where the Coast Guard found and rescued the two astronauts. So now, due to cut funding, we actually don't have the technology to get to the moon anymore. However, NASA is funding a $10 billion space program to put humans on Mars. So this is going to be about 30 people, and they're going to try and live in a self-sustaining environment on the surface of Mars. This is because the Mars rover has just found frozen water under the Mars surface, and this is important because it shows that there may have been life on Mars at one time, and possibly still is, but the Mars rover doesn't have enough information. It doesn't have the technology to uncover more information. So that's why we need to send people there. And so now our quest for attaining knowledge has expanded past our own orbit, soon past our own galaxy, and as far as we can make it go. This is going to keep us entertained for hundreds and hundreds of years, an endless amount of information, an endless amount of things to uncover. So NASA just continues to develop these new technologies and is a gateway to a new society and a gateway to new life forms, and it's just an essential to the American people. Thank you.